Good morning. Welcome. I'm Linda with Pinky Mo's Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, also known as Pinky Mo's Sisters in the Kitchen. I'm going to give it just a second here. My clock stopped chiming, so I know it's the hour, but I'm going to wait just a minute to see if anyone gets their notifications. So I want to thank y'all for joining me today, and thank y'all so much for your patience and bearing with us as we work through Mary's health problems and getting her to feeling better. And by the way, I did talk to her a little bit ago, and her voice sounds stronger, and she said to tell everyone hi and thank you for the prayers, the calls, the texts, the DMs, the everything. Y'all have just been so wonderful, and our priority right now is just to get her to feeling better. So until then, y'all bear with me and stay with me, and y'all have been so excellent this week to stay with me during my live, and I hope that you will today too, and share our page with your friends, family, church family, neighbors, anyone that you want to share us with. So what we're making today, or what I'm making today, I miss my sister. I think she is watching if she feels like it. Carla's on the other end. Hi, Carla. Thank you very much, Carla, for coming yesterday and helping me out and before you went to go see your mom. I really appreciate that. So we got a rainy day here today in East Texas, and I think there's going to be some storms moving in this afternoon, but it's real peaceful. Just a little gentle rain falling right now. So I thought this was a good day to make some muffins. So I'm going to make banana date nut muffins. I had some bananas that I bought quite a big bunch the other day over the weekend because I wanted my fruit bowl full. And, you know, bananas ripen really quickly, and I wanted to use my bananas. So I thought this would be something good. Now, for those of you who have our cookbook, there is a version of this in our cookbook, and it's called Fruity Banana Bread. But this is a little different, and I've just kind of, I don't know, amped it up a little bit. And I'm making muffins instead of the loaf, just so they will cook quicker, and hopefully we'll get through. These will get baked within the hour. So I've got my muffin pans, and this is our jumbo muffin pan, and these are a little smaller than the jumbo, but these are the little cups that I'm using, and I get these from TJ Maxx. Some of the other discount stores, they have them too, but they come in a little container like this, and I don't know how many's in there, but several. And you can get different colors depending on what season it is. I like to keep a bunch of those for that. So I'm going to get my bananas mashed up, and also we are sponsored by Imperial Sugar, and we are using 2 different kinds of Imperial Sugar today. So I've got, if you kind of want to know about how many bananas you're going to need, and this recipe is not on our website yet for our members, so I'm going to tell you what I'm putting in here like we always do, and it will be on there this weekend. But this is kind of an unusual week, and I'm doing a few recipes that wasn't on the calendar, so the recipes wasn't turned in, and I didn't want to bombard Linda with trying to get these on there. So this is 1 banana here, but I need a cup. So I'm going to just peel another banana, and you want to make sure you get all the little yucky stuff off of it. And these are ripe. These are actually excellent for what I'm doing right now, and I'm just going to cut the tip of that off and just make it easy to mash. I'm just going to cut it up like this, and I'm going to kind of move this over just a pinch. I think you can still see it, but I want you to see what I'm doing. I'm using my mix and mash to mash this with, and I'm going to see if this is going to be a cup. I ate about a half a banana myself this morning, so I've got a little bit of piece there if this is not quite a cup. These mash real easy because it is ripe. So where's my little spatula? Oh, there it is. I got my oven on 350, and it is preheated. You always want to preheat your oven unless your recipe says start in a cold oven. Most of the time you need to preheat your oven. So I'm just going to put these in here, and let's see if this makes a cup. And if it doesn't, I'll use that other little piece. I think we're good to go. That looks like that's pretty much a cup. And you don't have to worry about it being, I don't know, we might need just a little bit more in there. I think I'm going to get just another little tiny piece just to make sure that it is a full cup. Unless it's a cold oven cake or something, you want to make sure that your oven is preheated. It makes a lot of difference in the cooking when you're baking, and probably 99% of our viewers already know this, but you know, sometimes we seasoned cooks, bakers, whatever, we tend to think that everyone knows what we know, and that's not always true. And you know, it's sometimes you just need to make sure that you let everyone know all the different steps there is to something. And you know, that's easy to forget if you're used to cooking something 3 or 4 times a week or a month or something. You might forget that, you know, not everybody might not know what you know, and y'all might know more than I know, and probably some of you do. But anyway, so we're going to start with a stick of softened butter, and this butter is salted, and this was softened, so I didn't soften it in the microwave, so I want to get all that off of my paper. Now, I know I've showed this to y'all before, but on your butter wrappers, if you're going to use a scoop to scoop out your batter with, these are really good to just butter your scoop with, and that helps your batter come out easier. So I just set that aside there, discard this. Of course, you know, you drop something, then you gotta wash your hands. So, this is the time of year that we get a lot of these little spring thunderstorms. It's not anything unusual, probably for a lot of areas, but especially for East Texas. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sugar in. That's 1 stick of softened butter, and it is salted. And I'm using 3/4 cup of imperial granulated sugar. And some of you may ask why we, of course, we're sponsored, but one reason we like this granulated is this imperial is because it's extra fine, so it mixes up really and dissolves really quickly. Okay, I'm just going to mix this up together real quick. Splattering it there. I'm going to add my eggs. Let's see, do I have something? Yeah, I'll just use the same thing. I've got 2 extra large eggs that I'm going to use. And always break them individually, just to be on the safe side. You know, these aren't yard eggs, they're store-bought eggs, but still sometimes you could get a bad one. So I like to break them individually. So that was 2 extra large eggs. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my vanilla in. And I'm going to eyeball it, but I'm going to do about a teaspoon. I don't know if that was quite a teaspoon or not. And I'm using extract. If you have vanilla extract, or you have access to it, it's always best to use it. If you don't, then use whatever you got. I'm going to, I've got my I got a ½ cup of chopped walnuts, and I did toast these in the microwave. And when you're toasting nuts, you want to do them 30 seconds at a time. Take them out, stir them, put them back in there, and I do this for about 1.5 minutes, 3 different times, 30 seconds at a time, and then just give them a rough chop. So I've got those ready, and this is a cup of chopped dates. Now you can buy these in the baking aisle of your grocery store, but normally you see them more around the holidays, so I usually buy a couple of packs and stick them in the freezer. And if you take them out of your freezer, you do need to kind of stick them in the microwave for about 20 seconds to kind of let the moisture come out of them. These are so delicious, and dates are so good for you. This is something that goes back to biblical times when they had dates back then. So I've got my butter, my sugar, and my eggs, and my flavoring. Now we're going to do baking powder and salt. Let me get my measuring things here. And our flour. And then a banana. So bananas is kind of acting as your wet ingredient. So on the flour, and this is all-purpose flour, it is 1 3/4 cup. Make sure I got enough flour in there. I didn't tap it very good. So, and because this is not a large recipe, and I almost doubled it, but I knew if I did, I would just have to find more people to give these to. So I'm just making a single batch. This is not a big recipe. So it's 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. My canister needs filled up. And then I'm going to use 2 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 3/4. There's 1. There's 2. And I got a 1/2 and a 1/4. So that's 2 3/4. And I'm going to use a teaspoon of salt. Just take the salt. Okay, so I was going to alternate this, but I honestly think I'm just going to put this all in here together. Put my bananas in there too, and then I'll fold in the dates and the nuts after I get it mixed up. Now, if you were using milk, buttermilk, or sour cream, or whole milk or something, you could alternate it, but I just put mine all in there at the same time. I'm going to start this on slow, so hopefully it's not going to splatter everywhere. It's going to be kind of a thick batter. Now, it is a thick batter, just like I told y'all. Now, I'll tell y'all what I'm going to do, and this wasn't in the recipe either. I do have it in the streusel that we'll make in a minute, but I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon in this to just give it a little bit of extra flavor. And I think I'm going to use about maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I need to add that to my recipe, so I'll make sure that I get that right. And I'm using our good cinnamon. And if you don't have the Koringe cinnamon, just to use a good cinnamon that you get, in the store. There's a lot of different brands, but I use this because it is really good. So I'm just going to add that. Get this out of the way here. Now I'm going to fold in a 1/2 cup of toasted and chopped walnuts. If you don't like walnuts, you can use pecans, almonds, I would probably, if I didn't use walnuts, I would probably use pecans, but you can use almonds too. And then I'm going to just put these dates in here. Where's my spatula at? Whoops, these are already kind of set. I'm going to stick these back in the microwave just for a second, just so they're not in clumps. And then I'm going to be getting this stuff over here to make my streusel with, because that's going to go on top. Let's see here. Get this out of the way. I need this. And I don't guess I got a spatula out. Okay, so here's my dates. You can see that softened them up a little bit and got them to where they're not just in clumps. And I'm just going to mix these together. These are going to be so yummy. I told Mary this morning, I said, this is something that I would so love to have one to eat. I'm not going to eat one, but it would be something that I would absolutely love. Okay, so I'm going to use my jumbo scoop here to put these in my cups. And I'm going to just use a big scoopful. I need to save room on top to put the streusel. So you're going to have a little bit of room left. And I did get out 2 pans, so I thought this would make more than 6. So you can tell I just used the 1 scoop. Let me get my other pan here. And this streusel will come together really quickly. Whoops. Kind of went over the side there. This is a kind of something that you would probably find at like maybe a bed and breakfast here in town in your room when you got there, like for a little afternoon treat or something. And they do different things. We have lots of bed and breakfast in town, but they usually always have something for you to snack on, and this would be great for that. So this is going to make 12 of these muffins, and I may have a tiny bit of dough left, but I'm going to just kind of put a little bit extra in some of them because I don't want to lose this good batter. Not dough, but batter. And I want to work kind of quickly because, you know, this has got leavening in it. I don't want it setting out a long time. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I'm told all the time that I have a low voice and a high voice, and usually when I get excited, I talk loud, and when I'm just regularly talking, I don't talk quite as loud. And I certainly want y'all to be able to hear me. Now, there's lots of streusel recipes that you can use, but I'm just going to use just a real basic streusel, and I just kind of put it together the last minute. I actually wasn't even planning on putting a streusel on it, and I just thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to put a streusel on it. I think that would just make it a little bit better. So we got 12 muffins here, and I'm going to get my other supplies over here for my streusel. I'm going to use imperial brown sugar, some rolled oats. I'm going to use a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon, and I'm probably going to put just a pinch of salt in it. Salt brings out natural flavor and stuff, so I'm going to put a little salt in it. So I am going to use Here's my recipe I just wrote real quick this morning. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of flour. Where's my 1/2 cup at? There we are. And this is just all-purpose flour that I'm using. 1/2 cup. I'm going to use about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is a 4, so I'm going to do 2 of these. And I'm using about, whoops, my butter's in the refrigerator. I'll get that out in a second. I'm going to use just about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Thought this was open. I must have got one that's not open. I bought a bunch of these at our little discount store in town a while back. It smells so good. Nutmeg is that ingredient that people want to know, what is that? You know, because it's just has a little different taste to it. And I'm only using 1/8 of a teaspoon. It does have a distinctive taste. And if you have old spices in your cabinet that are out of date, spices can be quite expensive, but I would definitely throw them out and get me some new ones. And if you don't want to buy them all at one time, this is a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Just buy a couple a week on your grocery bill, and you can definitely buy these at a dollar store or Walmart or wherever you discount stores. I don't shop Aldi's, and the reason I don't is because there's not one convenient for me too. But I know a lot of people do shop Aldi's. We have a little store in town that's called, I think it's called Save More, and you can get stuff discounted. That's where I got this. You can get stuff discounted there. And I'm going to wipe out this. Oh, I've got another one here, so I don't have to wipe that out. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of oats, and this is a 1/2 cup, so I'll just kind of half this. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of oats. And these are old-fashioned. If all you have is the quick cooks, we'll use those. You know, use what you got in your pantry. And I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And again, I guess I didn't get a 1/4 cup out, so I'm just going to use this and put part of it in there. So I've got a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of oats, a dash of salt, 1/2 cup of flour, and I'm going to use 4 tablespoons full of butter, and you want your butter firm, and then a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg. So everything is in here, and also some nuts. Everything is in here except my butter and my nuts. So let me get the butter out of the refrigerator because you do want it firm. And I had it laying out, but I put it back in the refrigerator because I didn't want it to be soft. So I do keep unsalted butter, but 99% of the time I cook with salted butter. Now, if y'all are watching your salt intake or you'd rather use unsalted, use unsalted. I just prefer salted, so that's what I use. So I'm going to use about 4 tablespoons, which is a 1/2 stick of the butter. Let me move this, and I'll just do it like about this. Oh, that's not going to work. I need a knife. Where did my knife go? Okay, so I'm just going to cut it in little bitty pieces. And you just want to kind of crumble this up in your dry ingredients there. It's kind of on the same line as you're making a pie crust pastry. You want little bits of butter in it, and it just kind of gives it that little moisture. And when it cooks, then it melts, and it gets down in the muffin, and also gives it a lot of great flavor. So I'm just cutting these in just little bitty pieces. And then I'm going to just take a fork. You can see there. I definitely could cut these smaller, but I'm going to just leave them like this. And then we're going to kind of work that butter in. I didn't even get a pastry blender out, so I'm not going to use a pastry blender. I'm just going to use a fork to kind of incorporate this. Okay, so I guess I didn't get a fork out. Okay, so I'm just going to use a fork and just kind of, I may wind up using my hands before this is over with. I think I will. Your hands are warm, so, you know, if you want to just use your hands to do this, you could just use your hands. It smells good. You can definitely smell that nutmeg. Now, some of you have our Cinnamon Plus. You could use that and leave out the nutmeg if you wanted to and leave out the cinnamon. The only thing with Cinnamon Plus, it has several different spices in it that are different than nutmeg and also different from cinnamon. So it has the cinnamon in it, but it also has orange, it has ginger, and it has 3 or 4 different things in there, and it's very strong. So when you use Cinnamon Plus, if you use that in place of this, you want to be very careful and not put too much in it. So this is just a crumble. I'm going to add the walnuts, and this is probably, I don't know, it's probably going to be about a half a cup. A little over half a cup. I'm going to use them all because I already had them toasted. So now this is real kind of grainy. It's kind of coarse because the only moisture that's in it is the butter. But as it cooks, it's going to melt and go down in that muffin. I know I already said that. So probably have got more streusel than I need. I just made this up just really quick this morning when I decided to put a streusel on it. So you may have some left. If you do, well, you can put it in a Ziploc and you can save it for another time. So I'm using a 1 tablespoon scoop, and I'm just going to put probably a couple of scoops, maybe just 1 scoop on each muffin, a big scoop. This is probably about a tablespoon that I'm, maybe a tablespoon and a half that it is a tablespoon and a half that I'm putting on here because this is a one tablespoon. So I'm just going to generously put this on top of the muffin. And then we're going to get these in the oven and get them baking. And I know that we have several new followers and new viewers. I don't even like that word, followers. It's, to me, it's just that I can't get my head around that. But I thought we would take a few questions. If any of y'all have any questions. Okay, I think we're good to go here. And I used probably about a little over half of that. So that crumble that I gave you is going to definitely do more than 12 muffins. So I'm going to put these in the oven, and I'm going to set the timer for 18 minutes, and then I'm going to check them and see how close they are to being done. And it is going to be smelling good in here in a few minutes. Okay. Just going to get me a space cleaned off here enough to where I can get the camera a little closer and see if I can take some questions. I don't like leaving the camera, but sometimes you have to do that. And this is one of the times that I do have to leave the camera. So I'm just going to make the best of it. And I know that I would not have to do this. I could leave it all sitting here, but I don't like stuff to be conglomerated. So I'm just moving this around just a pinch. Now, I know we talked about nuts a lot and how to keep nuts fresh. If you happen to see like a display of nuts on sale, especially like after the holidays, if you have room in your freezer to put them, buy them, because nuts are very expensive, and they will keep as long as you keep them in your freezer. So the bag of walnuts that I used today is a bag that I bought right after Christmas, and it was a huge bag, and they were marked down to $8.25. So that was a good deal, and I knew it was, so I bought them. And a lot of times it might not be in your budget to buy something extra like that, but they sure do come in handy later whenever you're wanting to cook something, and you wouldn't have to run to the store to get what you needed. Okay, now I can't see from way over there, so I'm going to pull this camera a little bit closer to me and see. I'm going to have to lower it, because I'm not like my sister. I can't stand up indefinitely, so I'm going to lower this. Well, I guess I'll get it lower in a minute. It seemed like it wasn't working. Okay, all right, now, hopefully, y'all going to see everything in my kitchen here. Okay. It keeps freezing. Okay, I don't know why it's freezing. It didn't show it was freezing on my end, and I'm very sorry that it's doing that. I have a hardwire modem hooked up to these live broadcasts. Mary and I both do. So hopefully, I don't know what to do other than I know people say they go back out and come back in, and I don't know if that will work or not. So, okay, the first question I see is, how's Mary doing? Mary does feel better, but she is not well. And, she does not like people making a fuss over her. Neither one of us do. But, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and try to take care of yourself. And she will be back cooking, Lord willing. She's just... right now, she just needs to rest some. Okay, y'all are saying the camera keeps freezing up, and I do not know why, because it usually, if it stops, we see it on our end, and I am not seeing it on this end. Creme brulee, that would be something that we could put on our calendar. We work our calendar a month ahead in a time, so we know the next month what we're doing. We plan to do some summer items coming up, so creme brulee might not make it on the calendar until later on, maybe in the fall, but I certainly can put that on there for us to do. Okay, so some of you are saying it's good on your end. Some of you are saying that it's not. Okay, the clock, my sister bought that for us for Christmas several years ago at Sam's. They only carry them around the Christmas time. Some of you have mentioned my weight loss. I don't think there's really a magic formula for weight loss. For those of you who didn't know me before our videos, I haven't been a small person all my life, but I used to be a small person. I've always been short. You can't change that. Lots of salads. I eat fruit at least once a day, some kind of fruit. But I eat lots of salads, lean protein, and, just no junk. And so I think it all depends on how bad you want to accomplish something, how much you're willing to sacrifice. As far as pecans, as far as nuts, my favorite nut is pecans. I love pecans. I love pecans in anything. But I do like walnuts, and walnuts are good for you, and walnuts are a different flavor than pecans. And some things that you bake, walnuts to me are just the ideal nut. And I thought that it would go really good with the banana and the dates, so I use walnuts today. April birthday, this week you can send, if you have or had a birthday in the month of April, to get in the birthday drawing, you can text your name, the birth date, we don't want the year, and your address to 903-235-4804. We only take them the last week of the month, and then next week we will announce April's winner. So again, if you have had a birthday in April or have one coming up in the next few days, then you would need to text your birth date, the day of the month, and your address to 903-238-3993. And actually, I want to say happy birthday to our oldest brother, Charles. His birthday is Friday. And we wish him a very happy birthday. And I'll be putting a post on Thursday night or Friday about Charles. Charles, both of our brothers are remarkable people. They're not perfect. None of us are perfect. But okay, now it did stop for a second then, and I saw that. So I did see that little glitch. But the Pampered Chef mixer, it is not heavy. You know, I'll be 75 in a few days, and I use this mixer 3 or 4 times a week. The motor in the handle is the heavy part, but to me, it's not heavy at all, and it's so convenient. And to me, the convenience really, I do not like cords. I cannot tell you how many times I've dropped a cord in batter, and I don't like cords. So when they came out with this mixer, I hopped right on and got one because I knew that I was going to love it, and I do. Mary and I live 55 miles from each other. Now, in terms of highway or interstates, that seems like, what, a 45 or a 50-minute drive, because we have to go through a bunch of little towns. It takes an hour and 15 minutes each way for me to get to her house and for her to get to mine. So that's why we try to rotate cooking at her house and cooking at mine, because it is a little distance to drive to get to each other's house. Let's see if I missed a question on here. I'm not sure if I missed a question or not. Went out and it hadn't helped. Okay, I do not know why that it's freezing. That really is kind of irritating when you're working so hard and then something does that. But you know, there's things in life that we can't control, and that's weather, and 2 of them are weather and taxes. We can't control either one of them, or at least I don't think we can. I haven't been able to. And I'm sorry for those of you who say you're going to get off, but hopefully the majority of you, and I don't mean to discount the ones that are having trouble, but hopefully you'll be able to watch this later if it keeps freezing up on you. Oh my goodness, here's somebody else that's lost a lot of weight. That's fantastic, Becky. Fantastic. And I'm doing my own plan as far as what I'm doing. Let's see here. Oh, and somebody, oh yeah, Carla, I was going to say, somebody has a girl named Miranda. That's Carla's baby. Yeah, her birthday was April the 13th. And then Nathan, Linda's oldest son, his birthday was the 15th. He was a tax baby, and his birthday was the 15th. So thank you all very much for the compliments. It's the older you get, and you know, you don't want to sound like that's a cop-out because you're aging, but it definitely is harder to lose weight as you age, or I think it is. Maybe it's because, you know, I'm not quite as active as I once was, even though I think I stay think I stay pretty active. Mary and I both do. But, you know, your metabolism changes, and there's a lot of different things that come into play when you're losing or gaining weight. And it may be the weather. That may be why this is doing this. Okay, so Becky said she went out and came back in. Also, I want to remind everyone, especially that's in the area that's close enough to Jackson, Mississippi, Mary and I will be there May the 20th. That's on a Saturday at Jesus Name Tabernacle. It's on Highway 49 South, and the address is Florence, Mississippi, but it's actually between Richland and Florence, and it's on the north side of the highway. You can't miss it because it has a white lighthouse, and the church has been there since, I think, 1961 is when it was founded. It's very visible because it's right on 49, and we're going to be there meeting with a group of old friends from the 60s and 70s, and some new friends too. And if anyone is planning on coming, we do need to know that you're coming. We're going to have a little bit of snacks and food in the youth center or fellowship hall, as they call it now, after we get through singing and telling stories in the sanctuary. So we're really excited and looking forward to that. And I'm hoping that Mary will be well enough by that time to go with me. And someone said they was in the hospital. I think it's Yolanda. So prayers for you. Definitely. We have so many people that, that watch us that do go through health issues. And we certainly remember all of y'all in prayer. And okay, how is Mary again? Hey, Karen, our cousin Karen. Thank you for watching. Karen's a big blessing to us. She's one of our younger cousins that we just love dearly. We love all of our cousins, but Karen is such a blessing to anyone she knows. She is somebody you want in your corner. So thank you for watching us, Karen. And some people are talking about weight loss being a health issue, and definitely when you're facing different health issues, sometimes you don't have a choice. You need to lose it. And I decided in December that that I was going to do something about my weight. And it's a slow process, but it's really important to stick with it. Whatever you decide to do, it's important to stay with it. Okay, so Diane said she has someone that lives in Florence, Mississippi. If they've lived there any time, they know where the church is. And thank you again. We started doing this, and most of y'all know, but right before my 70th birthday, it was, I don't know, the first of the year, February or March, and I was still working full-time at that time, and so was Mary. I decided I wanted to start a home cottage bakery, and I spent the weekend reading laws, taking little things on the computer and getting certified, and so I opened me a home cottage bakery, and I started baking for the public and created the Facebook page. So if anybody's watching on a page that is not us, y'all know it's not the right page. I mean, it may be our videos, but people create other pages. And then, when COVID hit, well, Mary decided that she wanted us to start doing videos. And that's been 3 years ago in July. We did our first live video as Pinky Mall's Sisters, or Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, and Sisters in the Kitchen. I'd done videos before then, but not Mary and I as the sisters. So, and we've been doing them ever since. And y'all are just such a great, great group that watch us. And my birthday is the 13th, so it's not long, May 13th, just a few days from now. It's usually always around Mother's Day. And, you don't, birthdays are important. I used to always think that the birthday should have been a tribute to the mother instead of the child, because, that was a big deal for a mother to deliver a baby. And I've always felt like that. All my life I've felt like that the mother should be honored and not the child. But it is my birthday, May the 13th. So let's see if there's anybody else that's We do still have plenty of our cookbooks. We have Mama's Story in stock on our website. We have the aprons. We have pink and white, and we have a few kids' aprons which are red, and that's www.pinkymoskitchen.com. If you want a printable recipe, we give the ingredients when we cook. But if you want a printable recipe, then we have a membership fee of $5.99 plus tax, where you can go on and get the recipes and print them up. We have people that print them and put them in a binder or folder, but that's just in whatever applicable tax in your area. That's for people that want to be a member or want to be able to print the recipes up. We ask people ask us all the time, and we get a lot of messages, and we reply back, www.pinkymoskitchen.com, and we're not doing that to be short or anything. It's just because we get so many inquiries, we don't necessarily carry on a conversation. So whoever is getting the message, please don't take that as we're not being kind or anything. That's just what we do. Okay, let's see. And for all the people that have their Mother's Day's birthday in heaven, or their mother's birthdays in heaven, or Mother's Day, it's yes, that's something you never forget. Mom and Daddy's birthday is on the same day, different years, but on the same day, and that's in July. Oh my goodness, so we got lots of May birthdays I'm seeing come in. So happy birthday to everybody that's had a birthday this month or that's going to have one next month. And wish mothers a happy birthday. And it just glitched again. So, it may be the weather that's causing this to go in and out. I'm really not sure why it is, but to become a member, you would go to our website, and there's a place to sign up, and you can, sign up there, and you can cancel at any time. My beeper's going out, and I'm going to run over there my beeper's going off. I'm going to run over there real quick and check and see what they look like in the oven. They may not be done, but I want to check them. And they're not done. They're definitely not done. Okay. Okay, so I cooked them 18 minutes, and I just added 6 minutes to the timer, and it may wind up taking longer than that to cook. I don't know. And if we still got just a little bit of time to be under an hour, or right at an hour. If they're not done in an hour, which I think they should be. I mean, not an hour. They haven't baked an hour. If I'm not finished by 11, then I can always come back on and show you the finished product. They smell really delicious. I love to smell something baking in the oven. There's nothing like walking into a house, and you can get candles, and you can get all kinds of little wax melts that have all different fragrances. But to me, there is nothing like walking into a house and smelling something baking in the oven. That's just, to me, that's the ultimate. That says home. It absolutely says home. So I set the timer 18 minutes to start with, and I added 6 minutes to it. You definitely don't want to over bake them. So I just add a few increments at a time until they get done. Yeah, there's been lots of my birthdays that have fallen on Mother's Day. And some years it's worse than others. I remember one year, and I probably have told this before, but Mother died in, well, it's been 20 years. So was it 03 that she died? Maybe it was 03. I'm pretty sure it's been 20 years. So I think this was 07, and I was working, traveling. I wasn't on the full-time job that I took right after then, but I was traveling, and I had been gone from home for several weeks. And I was in right on the California and Arizona line, And let's see, was it Parker, Arizona? I think it was Quartzsite, Arizona. Some of you that are in the Arizona, California area, y'all will probably know, but I think it was Quartzsite. It was a real small town, and I was staying at a La Quinta, and my family, my friends, my immediate family knew that I was on the West Coast, but a lot of people didn't. And I started getting calls that morning at 4 o'clock to tell me happy birthday. And it was a very emotional year for me because I'd been gone from home for several weeks, and it just hit me hard because that was on Mother's Day, and it was also my birthday. So some years are tougher than others, especially when my birthday falls on Mother's Day. But we know where she's at, and that's that is a big comfort to us to know that she is no longer suffering and not in pain, and that just means so very much. And y'all don't worry about me. I'm fine. I don't, some days I might not look that good, and I certainly don't look young, but I do feel much better with the since I started the weight loss. I feel much better, and that's gives me more energy, and it doesn't mean that I don't tire out, but I do have more energy than I did before I started this. And thank y'all for all the sweet compliments. I'm a talker. I've been a talker all of my life. I told somebody the other day, I've always been the shortest in any class I've ever attended. I've always been the shortest person there. Picture day, I was always the first person that they took the pictures. I don't know why they started with the short people, but they did in my school. And so I was always the first one that got the picture taken. And if there was a part in a play or something, I don't know why I always wound up with one of the leads or something, but maybe I was just a real little gun-ho kid, and I didn't mind to get up in front of people, but I was usually always front and center because I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me a bit. I remember one year when I believe I was in the 2nd grade, and we had a big school program at Nettie Marshall Elementary School in Nacogdoches, Texas, and Mother made me, and I don't remember the name of the program, but she made my outfit, and it was Alice blue gown, and I think I have pictures of it somewhere. Of course, there wasn't colored pictures, but it was a really pretty little blue outfit, and it had a bonnet with it, and she made that for me, and I was one of the ones that was one of the lead ones in whatever that play was. It's kind of funny to look back because it was a really cute outfit, and Mama did a great job, but it's probably something that people would laugh at today because it was like a period costume, but it was really cute. Mama was an excellent seamstress, and she could make anything. She didn't use patterns. She just went in and started cutting out. She would measure us, and she would sew, and sometimes there were days that she would make me and Mary maybe 3 dresses each. I mean, she was fast. My mama didn't waste time. She was very fast. Okay, let me check it again. I hear the beeper going off again. I believe that they're done. So I'm going to move my stand back over here. Now I'm not going to taste of them. But I'm going to take them out and show them to y'all. So just bear with me here a second. They look really, really nice. Don't those look beautiful? You definitely don't want to overcook them because you don't want them dry. Now, I'm not putting any kind of a simple syrup or anything on top of these. I'm just going to, whoever gets these are going to get them like this. And they're really hot to take out of the pan right now, but I hope that you can see they're just barely golden around the top, and you can touch them and tell that they're done. Now, because this has bananas in it, it's going to be a dense muffin. It's not going to be a light like a cake mix because it's not a cake mix batter. It's a dense with the butter and the banana, so that makes it a little bit denser. But they're going to be delicious. One thing, when you bake something that have nuts in it or dates or something like this, banana, it's going to taste better the second day than it did when the day you baked it, because that flavor sets in and it just will be delicious. So you want to make sure they're cooled completely, and then once they're cool, you can wrap them up and then store them and then take them out as you want. You know, it would be great with coffee or tea, or, you know, if you don't drink coffee or tea, it would be great with a glass of cold sweet milk. And just a nice treat for afternoon or evening, or, you know, if you wanted to eat one of these with your eggs and whatever you cook for breakfast in the morning, this would also be good for that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and again, I apologize about the freeze-ups. I wished I could do something about that, but I can't. So I hope that y'all will, if you didn't get to see it all, I hope you'll come back in and watch it again. Continue to remember Mary in your prayers. We will be back next week, and we're going to take this a day at a time. If Mary's not feeling like it, I'll be cooking Monday. If she feels like it, she might come on in the next day or two and just talk a few minutes. But I don't want her to feel pressure. So if she doesn't feel like it, she won't. But if she does, she might. So we won't create an event because I wouldn't know ahead of time whether or not she would be doing this, you know, enough time in advance. I mean, I'll know if she's going on. But remember her in your prayers. If you had a birthday in April, be sure to send that in to 903-235-4804. Include your address, because we spent so much time trying to get addresses. When we would pick someone that didn't have an address, we want you to send your address with it when you send your birthday in. So God bless. Everyone stay safe from the storms. Make sure that you remember to be kind to people, and always, always count your blessings. I don't know of one person on this earth that don't have something to be thankful for. And I want to always be cognizant of that. I want to always make sure that I don't forget to thank God for all of our blessings, because they are many. So thank you again. We love y'all. And we miss Mary, but hopefully she's going to be on the mend, and, you know, we'll see her again soon. So thanks again, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.